Tally-ho everybody, this is Heap Games, Adam speaking. My channel has not been very active lately, and there are a few reasons for this. And I'm going to tell you about the last few years, what's been going on with me. Now, it's going to sound a bit doom and gloom at the start, but I'm saving a hopeful message for the end so we can leave on a high. Right. 2018 through to mid-2020 were the worst years of my life, by a long way. And there are a few different reasons, but there was a main reason. I was having a lot of difficulties with my health. A lot of difficulties, and it fluctuated a lot, but there were times where I couldn't function. It was before 2018, there were little moments where I didn't feel right, and 2018 came along, and there was a specific day that I just snapped. I'd completely snapped. I couldn't function. I couldn't do what I needed to. I had some terrible thoughts, really terrible thoughts. And it's not easy to talk about it, and I'm not going to go into great detail, but I couldn't work. I ended up being medically discharged from work after about a year of being medically downgraded because of what was going on. And I found myself in some really shit places. Not literal places, I'm talking in here. Obviously, when I went into the military, I couldn't do much video content, so that put a slowdown on my Heap Games channel. I was still doing the Banter Wars stuff when I could, but unfortunately, at the same time that I was having these difficulties with my health, Banter Wars was declining. It was declining. It was the main thing I was doing on my channel, because I'd found this little niche that I was doing, and I thought, wow, I've got an audience for this show that I'm doing and they seem to really like it, so I'm going to focus on that. And all the other stuff sort of went away, and I started to hyper-focus on Banter Wars and the robot stuff. But about the same time that I was having these problems, people stopped watching Banter Wars. The views just plummeted. Whether it's because of my upload schedule or what have you, that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And not only that, but there was more negative feedback than positive. And at the time, Banter Wars was one of those things that I held on to, and I thought, you know, this is something that I've got that I can be proud of. And when most of the feedback was negative and the views were dropping, that just added to my whatever was going on. And yeah, I went through a really rough time, and it probably translated onto screen at times. It's difficult not to let things like that slip into these things, because I'm here talking at you. A lot of the times I will put on an act, you know, I'll raise my voice and give it a bit of gravel. I don't speak like this usually in public. You know, I'll speak normally and say things as they need to be said. But when I'm here in front of the camera, I'm trying to put across something to keep you listening, add a bit of dynamics and what have you. But sometimes it's just difficult to keep up an act. Banter Wars is pretty much over at this point, because, as I mentioned, the interest has gone. And I think the major problem is, and it's been this problem for a while, people came to Banter Wars expecting something that I never intended Banter Wars to be. Banter Wars was always, it was a parody. It was a parody of robot combat shows. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. And yet I find that several times there was controversy because someone was like, oh, my robot didn't perform the way I wanted it to. It's not, it's parody. Why are you getting so wound up about this? And that's where most of the criticism started coming from, that it wasn't being taken seriously and the robot didn't perform the way it should. And it's like, that's not what this is about. You've gotten the wrong end of the stick. Now, I am proud of what Banter Wars has done, because I'm going to blow my own trumpet here for a second. I think before Banter Wars, nobody did robot combat shows on YouTube using things like Robot Arena 2. I like to think that I was the pioneer and I set it off. They're all over the place now. And that's something I take pride in. That's something I can be prideful of, I believe. But my time with that now is come and gone, because people aren't interested in it from me anymore. Which is sad, but it is what it is. That's life. You move on. The channel is not dead. It isn't. You'll notice I uploaded a Christmas video. My videos like that don't get many views, maybe 20. It's a tiny audience. And I know that at least a couple of those views are from like the Vice President Jim. But I enjoy it. I enjoy it. And I think that's my best content. I genuinely think that is my best content. It doesn't get the views. The problem was I hyper-focused on Banter Wars. So all my audience became Banter Wars audience. And once they were gone, nothing. I didn't have an audience. That's life. That's the mistake I made, hyper-focusing on something that was destined to fail. We all make that mistake. It's just the way it goes. You just got to accept it and move on. I'd like to thank everybody who is in the community who are still talking to me. Bad Wolf sent me a message that got me to do this video, just explaining what's going on. Thank you for those who have stood by me through all this bad time. And I've said things that I regret. Sometimes I've let my emotions get the better of me. I don't think that's just me. I think that's a problem most people have. And I like to think that I've had some really good times doing things like Banter Wars and what have you. But it's time for that Heap Games channel to be what I want it to be, and not what other people want it to be. I like doing silly skits. Like the Christmas one that I just did with Polly and the Crocodile. Yeah, maybe I don't have an audience for it at the moment, but it's what I enjoy doing. And I look back at it. When I look back at my channel, the first videos that I think, oh, I'd like to see that again, is those ones with the skits. I don't really watch any of the other stuff. Not really. Because that's what I enjoy making. Maybe it's not what other people enjoy seeing, but it's what I enjoy. And why should I live my life pleasing other people? It's nice sometimes, and that doesn't mean I'm going around fucking giving it all that at people. No, I say hello to people. I say hello to strangers in the street when I walk past them. I give money to charity and all that sort of stuff. I work for a charity. But at the same time, you've got to fix yourself before you fix other people. And that's something that I wasn't doing. You've got to, when you're on a plane, you've got to fix your own oxygen mask before you help other people put theirs on. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't do. And I think that's something that we have to do. We have to take care of ourselves. So, here's the hope. It has been a bit doom and gloom, this message. Firstly, this channel will still continue. It may be infrequent, but when I do a silly video, I'll put it on this channel. And if you want to watch it, be my guest, please. Leave a like, subscribe, and, you know, comment and say what you want. But, yeah, the main message of hope here is that this channel has had its major benefits. And it may not seem like it on the surface. If you look at my views, you say, oh, it's a dead channel, it's not paid off. It has paid off massively. Massively for me. I now have a job in videography and photography. Before I did this channel, I didn't have skills in that at all. So yeah, my channel may be nowhere near as big as I would have wanted it to be when I started, but it's given me the skills to get myself a well-paid job that allows me to keep the house that I live in. Sometimes the silly little hobbies give you the skills that allow you to propel yourself forward into the future. My parents were always criticising me for doing the stupid videos that I did. doing all these silly skits and me dancing around, doing all that sort of stuff. And they said, oh, what's the point of doing that? You know, do something useful. It's because of doing and filming myself doing it that I got the skills to use the camera and the know-how to edit software and to market things. And now I have a job in it. And now I'm earning a living from it. Don't ever give up hope. Even if something seems small and silly, if you enjoy it, you can get skills from it. And you could improve on those skills and you could get a living out of those skills. So take that as a message of hope. Through all of this, the A Heap of Games channel has given me something. It's allowed me to proceed and make a living for myself. Even if the A Heap of Games channel has been left behind, which hasn't totally. So don't think this channel's going away. Thank you very much for listening. This has been a very heartfelt one, probably the most on this channel. But I thought you were due an update and to know why I've been acting, why I haven't been producing the videos in the way that I used to. Thank you very much for watching. This has been A Heap of Games. Adam speaking. Ta-ra, toodle-pip, toodaloo, and cheer. Oh. See you later.